Alright folks, I'm going to do one more, at least I'm going to do another right now, book review. This time it's on a guy, well, an author review and a book review on a guy named Max Velocity. The name of the book, the first I'm going to talk about is Patriot Dawn, Resistance Rises. It's a story about the United States coming apart due to a whole bunch of stupid reasons, all of which are true, by the way. So in this case, there a guy. His name is Jack Behringer. He's a former Army Ranger officer, and he gets recruited into the an organized resistance, and they begin to take the country back from the socialist pigs that have it now. Anyway, so this one is a novel. Okay, Patriot Dawn. It's a novel. I got two more from them right here. One called Contact, a tactical manual for post-collapse survival, and Rapid Fire, tactics for high threat protection. All right. The guy that writes these, Max Velocity, that's a pseudonym, of course. The guy is actually he's actually an Army officer also. He's a British citizen. He served in the British military and the American military, and he's been in the sandbox a bunch of times. And he knows what he's talking about, and he understands tactics like the back of his hand. Now, there's other guys on YouTube that do also, and these guys, you know, they all read from the same books, so it's great. This one is a lot better. The writing is a lot better than some of the other books. If you remember that the author is a British citizen, and his use of English is not the same as ours. I mean Americans. I'm speaking Americans here. When I visited England all the time, I used to travel for a long time, and every time I visited England, I used to tell myself that the guys who actually are educated and actually use the English language the way it was intended. The English language is magnificent. It's very flexible and formal, and it's very accurate. Now this guy, whoever is writing this, he's not the most. How do I say this? He's not he hasn't achieved the highest level of education in the English language, but still, great development. Great. It's a great book. It's fine. That's the good part of it. It's kind of a slow read. This is not, the can't put it down type book to me anyway. And the reason is, and all of these here, and I'll get to all of them. The reason is these are way technical. This is not a novel that somebody would just sit up and write. I'm going to cover a couple of other novels here. This guy is technically at the peak, at the zenith. This guy understands exactly what he's talking about. Unfortunately, for the rest of us, we're not. Yeah, I was in the military. That's great, but I was a geek in the military. I worked with, well, it doesn't matter what I did. But anyway, now that from 90%, 95, 98% of the people who read this book, they're going to be lost in unit tactics. Small unit tactics is not something that the average prepper does, or God, I hate to say needs. God, if we ever get to the point where we actually need the information that's in these books, we're screwed. We're just absolutely screwed. If anybody thinks they're going to defeat the military proper, watch the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan and tell me how that works for you. Okay? You're not. If you're a prepper, if you're in a prepper group, if you're just the lone wolf type, if you're just a patriotic individual that's trying to look out for his family, if you come against the U.S. Army, you're done. That's the end of it. So there's no point in trying to pretend. Now, in this book here, they actually develop a resistance network using other Army defectors and other Army people, other soldiers, retired, you know, guys that actually know what they're doing. I don't know how many of those people are out there. I don't know if you could. I don't know how that would work. I really don't. Uh, but anyway, this is a pretty good book. If you were looking to buy a novel that's set in today's headlines, that has a plot and a storyline that could actually work, that actually could happen, this is the book for it. It really is. Now, you're going to get. I got bogged down in tactics. I just don't get it. But whatever. Uh, and maybe we all need to practice that. I don't know. Maybe we all need to get a lot more proficient. But I want to tell you, you can get proficient all you want, but you're not going to beat this guy. Whoever this guy is, his real name, Max Velocity, the boy understands what he's talking about. So, but I'm hoping and praying it never gets to the point that it gets to in this book here. All right, that's Patriot Dawn. Let me cover real quick these other two. These are not novels. Rapid Fire and Contact are not novels. These are instruction manuals. These are a practical application of current Army doctrine. So you could look to a regular Army manuals and find the same information, but and this does have some kind of, you can see in here, this is regular stuff, man. I mean, checklists and stuff. I'd like to think that, I don't know, depending on where you are in your preps and where you are, how far down you think this thing might go, this book might be a good deal. For me personally, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty lucky. I'm well along in years, and I got a few bucks I can spend, so I can buy books and read through them, you know. And it doesn't hurt my budget. But if you're on a budget, this may not be the first book you buy. There may be other books you may want to get before this one. Either one of these. These two instruction manuals, they're outstanding for what they do. I'm going to hope and pray to God that none of these are going to be required. If they are, we are in some serious, serious trouble. So I'm going to leave it at that, I guess. The Max Velocity's guy's name. You can buy these. I got these on Amazon, I think. They weren't terribly expensive. I don't remember what I paid for them. They wouldn't be your first books I would think a guy would need. But if you need them, and God, I hope and pray to God we don't. There's great information in them, but you would have to be in a unit sized. This is not for a guy that lives on a farm and he wants to protect his perimeter. This is for a survival group, a community, a group of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 guys, so that can mount patrols and can mount squads of men. That's how the Army works, you know. Anyway, I'll cut it off here. If you got any questions, I guess you could send me a comment. I don't much read. These videos are kind of one way. I send them out, and I pretty much say what I want to say about it, and then I'm going to put these books on a shelf downstairs with the rest of them, and that's kind of the end of that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Ozark Patriot. I'm out.